One game in the books for week 3. It's the Jets over the Patriots. Sacks galore, but we did get the debut of number 3 overall pick quarterback Drake Maye. What we see there, and we're making the picks for the rest of the week 3 NFL schedule on today's Peacock and Williamson.
NFL analyst Brian Peacock and former NFL scout Matt Williamson bring you expert NFL analysis every day in less than 30 minutes. Get an inside look at the NFL on the field and in the front office with elite breakdowns to next-level analysis and in-depth information only for the real NFL fans. This is Peacock and Williamson, and it starts now.
Welcome to the Peacock and Williamson NFL Show. Brian Peacock alongside Matt Williamson at BD Peacock at Williamson NFL. Thanks, everybody, for making us your first listen right here on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. We love all everydayers out there and appreciate all the new listeners jumping into Peacock and Williamson this season. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube or wherever you get your podcast. I'm serious. Stop right now. Hit that subscribe button, and we'd appreciate it tremendously. Today's episode of P&W is brought to you by Prize Picks. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnNFL. Use code, all lowercase, LockedOnNFL to win $50 instantly when you play just $5. And that brings us to Thursday Night Football, Week 3, getting going with the Jets and the New England Patriots. And it was a very easy win for those Jets, 24-3. We saw a little bit of vintage Aaron Rodgers in this game, throwing the ball all over the place. Braylon Allen looked good out of the backfield, the rookie running back for the New York Jets, along with Breece Hall, who plunged into the end zone. You had multiple touchdown passes from Aaron Rodgers and a breeze of a game for the defense as well, sacking the New England Patriots quarterbacks 7 times in this one, Matt.
Yeah, and I have a new theory that's a big picture thing I just want to throw out there, is I think I'm going to really start betting on new staffs or betting against new staffs on Thursday night, especially road games, just because they've never prepared for such a thing. And that's just a side note. I'm going to try to bring that up going forward. New staffs on Thursday night, I think, are an uphill climb.
And the Patriots, who looked really good the first couple of weeks and maybe better than expected and a little chippy and competitive, they were not competitive in this game, short week on the road at a much better team, clearly on paper and in reality, as it looked like on Thursday night in the New York Jets. 24-3. This one wasn't really close, and some garbage time late, which gave us an opportunity to see Drake Maye for the first time as quarterback of the New England Patriots. 4 of 8 passing for 22 yards. Clearly, they're trying to get the ball out of his hands instantly and not get him sacked, even though he still got sacked 2 times. And he actually rushed a couple of times and scampered for a first down. You saw a little bit of that athleticism as well as he rolled left and a nice little run of, what was it, 12-yard, 13-yard, no, 11-yard gain. So we got to see him scamper a little bit. But you can't obviously take away too much from Drake Maye's performance here in mop-up duty. But we saw the reason why they wanted to go with Jacoby Brissett instead of Drake Maye, and it's not really about Drake Maye. The very last play of the game, I think it was, Drake Maye drops back, gets sacked very quickly. It wasn't like he was holding on to the ball too long or anything. He gets sacked, gets up. His helmet's not even on his head anymore. They don't want to get their young quarterback killed behind that line.
100%. And that was my number one takeaway. And I tweeted this out last night that, okay, this is a Patriot team I thought we were going to see. You know, like the first 2 weeks were fine. They were swell. You know, they played hard. A lot of teams that weren't maybe ready for, especially Cincinnati, being ready for the opening week. And the Cincinnati's always terrible there. And I give the Patriots credit. They played pretty strong in both those games. But I think this is what we're going to see from here on out. And it starts with a horrendous offensive line that couldn't block anybody. And Brissett's getting killed back there for the better part of the game. We know the Patriots formula was hand it to Ramondre Stevenson over and over. He ended up with 6 carries in this game. And yeah, they were down early, but it was still only 14-3 at half. I mean, you could still do what you do. They have a lack of weaponry. Will McDonald has 5 sacks now in 2 games, and the pass rush looked really good. The Jets defense took advantage of a bad offense. I was really down or disappointed in the first Jets defensive performance. But Rodgers is really the story. I mean, Patriots being terrible and Rodgers looking like an elderly Rodgers, but like Rodgers, I mean, throwing the ball extremely well, ridiculous command of the situation, manipulating safeties, totally in control, just getting Mike Williams involved and Braylon Allen and throwing to Hall a bunch, and him and Wilson are going to do good things. So really good performance by the Jets and Rodgers.
Yeah, 8 different receivers had multiple receptions for the Jets in this game. Tyler Conklin, the tight end, ended up being the leading receiver, 5 for 93 yards. Lazard had a touchdown catch on his 3 receptions for 48. Garrett Wilson, 5 catches for only 33 yards, only 6.5 yards per catch on that one, but he did get the touchdown. Nice little maneuver there, and body flexibility to get into the end zone. And Rodgers did say after the game, he said, when me and 5 get on the same page, look out. Speaking of Garrett Wilson wearing number 5. So I think there's more to come there with that connection as well, which has been super hot. But for fantasy users, fantasy owners out there, you get excited to have the touchdown there. So making good for Lazard and Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall getting in the end zone as well, even though the production wasn't huge for him out of the backfield for your fantasy teams. And nobody from a fantasy perspective is worth owning on the New England Patriots. And then when we talk about sacks in the pass rush, the concerning thing wasn't so much that the Patriots, this is where I worry a little bit about Drake Maye and the offense. And, I guess you have to point to the offensive coordinator here with this, because it's not like, okay, our offensive line's bad and we're getting beat in one-on-ones. It was like, wait, they blitzed? That's cheating. You can't do that.
I can't do that.
Yeah. A stunt? What do we do about that? It was like they had no answers for anything up front.
No, and you're right. And their players are bad too. They're not good blockers to begin with, and they didn't have answers or recognition. And the Jets are doing this without Reddick. I just did Locked On NFL with Wig, and we were talking about Reddick's now demanding a trade, and Johnson's out for the year, the first round pick from a year ago or 2 years ago, and McDonald's stepping up. But the Jets D looks really good, and there's still a lot of star power, but there is some unrest with the defensive end situation here.
I mean, if McDonald's going to play like this, he's the biggest beneficiary of this Reddick thing. Maybe you do go get a draft pick for Reddick and recoup that if you don't like the way things are going there with him. Although
we've said a million times, why do you trade for Reddick, who's not happy with his contract, and think he's going to be happy with it with you?
There must have been a huge miscommunication there. So I think there's probably some bad feelings between agent and GM, where GM thought he had a certain understanding with the player and the agent, and it turned out not to be the case, or the opposite, where they thought they had an understanding, the player and the agent, and the GM tried to pull the rug out from under them, say, well, you're going to play here for this or not play at all. So I don't know exactly what's going on behind the scenes there. And I don't know if there's reporting to really get to the bottom of that, but I mean, it's a really weird situation for the Jets. Now it looks so both these teams like, okay, that's the kind of the Patriots team we thought we would see this year, and that's the Jets team we thought we would see this year.
Yep, I hope Rodgers looks like that for 14 plus more games, and that's my concern. Not that does he still have it or not? He still has it, but can he do it in week 16?
And yeah, you said it was like, it looks like just a little older version of Rodgers. Yeah, it's like, okay, still Aaron Rodgers,
that guy.
Older, different tone of green, but kind of looks like the same guy we remember, just slightly different. And it's a good sign for the New York Jets there.
I remember that guy. Yeah, he's fun to watch.
All right, let's make our picks for the rest of the games on the schedule for week 3. We got a couple of Monday nighters, a doubleheader on Monday night, a couple of unbeatens going head to head as well with the Texans and Vikings, and a whole lot more next. Today's episode of Peacock and Williamson, and by the way, all of the lines we reference on today's picks come from FanDuel app and FanDuel.com, and it is America's #1 sports book. And we talk so much about FanDuel here, and there's a reason they're America's #1 sports book. It's the best place to get in on all the NFL action, all the weekly lines, all the prop bets, all the Super Bowl bets, all of the defensive and offensive rookie of the year bets, and so much more. So many ways to play at FanDuel. And you can bet on Major League Baseball every day, or car racing, or darts, or snooker, or whatever it is. You can find all of it at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. And you better hurry, because now through September 22nd, all FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Then with a YouTube TV base plan, you'll be able to watch every regular season Sunday afternoon out-of-market game. All you need is a Google account and a current form of payment, and you can cancel anytime. And of course, bet on all the games we're going to talk about today in week number 3. Just visit FanDuel.com and download America's #1 sportsbook. That is FanDuel.com. All right, here we go. Let's take a look at the week 3 schedule. We already did our 6-pack of picks from Wednesday. So I'll remind the listeners, if you didn't get a chance, or if you did hear Wednesday's episode, and you can hear all of our rationales if you go back and listen to that episode. We both thought the New England Patriots, after a couple weeks, would keep this one closer. And we did not get that one correct. They weren't able to keep that one within a touchdown against the New York Jets on Thursday. I had the Colts. You have the Chicago Bears, and the Colts getting 1.5 at home there. The Pittsburgh Steelers are, Colts are 1.5 favorites at home. Pittsburgh Steelers, we both picked the Steelers to win against the Chargers. Steelers favored by 2 at home. Dallas Cowboys home dogs against the 0-2 Baltimore Ravens. We both like that bet, getting a point with the Dallas Cowboys. Kansas City Chiefs are 3.5 point favorites at the Atlanta Falcons. And then we've got the San Francisco 49ers, and we like them to both win big. 7.5 we're giving up there at the Los Angeles Rams, which brings us to, I think, my favorite game on the Sunday schedule is the Houston Texans at the Minnesota Vikings, Matt. Both teams coming in at 2-0. I think I expected it from the Houston Texans. Didn't quite expect it from the Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings looked really good at home last week against the San Francisco 49ers. Houston on the road favored by 2 with how good the Vikings have looked. Do you like the home dog scenario for Minnesota here in week 3?
I think it's a really fascinating game, because 9 out of 10 times a Flores defense that you saw firsthand in their really loud building against a super young quarterback greatly favors the Vikings. I just think Stroud's different. I don't think his heart beats heavy. I think he processes things and understands and is patient and is wise beyond his years. I also think Stingley can at least slow down Jefferson, and I don't think that gives the Vikings a whole lot else on offense. Against the Texans defense, it's really flying around the football, and I like Houston in this game. I think Houston's just a really good team. I'm really buying into them.
I like Houston a lot. I don't think they've even hit their stride. They haven't even looked as good as I think they can look in the first couple of weeks, but Vikings have, and the Vikings are kind of in their stride already right now, and I like that. And I like Brian Flores to give a young quarterback still in year 2 of his career some looks that confuse him a little bit. They can run the ball as well. The Vikings can. They do have a good offensive line, and can get Aaron Jones going on the ground, as well as trying to find ways to get Justin Jefferson open. And look, Stingley against Jefferson, I'll still take Jefferson in that battle. And so at home, I'm getting points here for the Vikings. I like it. I'm going to take the home dog Minnesota Vikings.
Okay. I love how they're playing. I just think that Houston's really good.
I love the way they're playing. And Houston, even though I really like them season long, there's been a little weird stuff the first couple of weeks, even though they are 2-0. And I think they could even play better. And maybe this is the week that they just get really on track and go show everybody, like, hey, we're dogs here in the AFC, and we are one to be reckoned with. Moving on to Cleveland, where we've got the 0-2 New York Giants at the 1-1 Browns. Cleveland favored by 6.5 points at home in this one.
Giants defense has been troubling, to say the least, but I do think their front is good. I don't think Watson's good. I really don't. And he was okay last week. So I think points are going to be tough for the Browns to come by, but I also think they're going to be harder for the Giants to come by. I do think the Browns defense, especially at home, they were great at home last year and not so great on the road. I'm not exactly sure why. They were like legendarily good at home. Really keeps this thing low scoring. So therefore, I'm going to take the points. I give me 6.5 against a team I'm not sold on. I like the under. It's only 38 from what I've seen. And
38.5. I think that one can easily go under here, which makes you lean to the points. And I was thinking the same thing. Like, man, a game that could be a little ugly, points hard to come by potentially, and you go under and then you take the points. But I just can't put money on the New York Giants. So give me the Browns.
There's that too.
Give me the Browns by a touchdown. So I'm going the other way in this one.
Okay.
The Green Bay Packers with, I think, Malik Willis still. They're being a little coy. I don't know if they're being coy or if they're in, and correct me if you've seen an official announcement there, but they almost acted like Jordan Love could play last week. And so I don't know if they're just kind of, playing things close to the vest to make things difficult on their opponent, or if we really could see Jordan Love here this week or even next week. But it is the Green Bay Packers at 1-1 who just ran wild last week and didn't have to lean on their young quarterback and Malik Willis going against another young quarterback who's looked pretty bad to start the 2024 season in Will Levis and the Tennessee Titans. It is the Titans at home favored by 3 points. And I don't know, man. As bad as the Titans have looked, I don't care who the quarterback is for the Packers. I don't know how you don't take the points with the Packers in this one.
I'm the same boat. And I kind of feel, back to Love real quick, I feel like the Packers, after getting that win with Willis, are kind of playing with house money a little bit. That, Jordan, why don't you sit out one more week, come back strong, lead us to the Super Bowl? You know what I mean? And
right.
That being said, I'm sure they're going to run the ball like crazy. Tennessee's defense has played quite well, though, and I just think Levis probably throws something dumb to the other team, and all of a sudden their weaponry doesn't look great either. Spears is banged up. Hopkins looks like a shell of himself. I don't love where Tennessee's at all, so I'll definitely take points with the better staff, the better team.
Here's what I wonder and what this would look like and why it's a fascinating game. If it is Malik Willis and the Titans say, okay, look, we're going to sell out against the run. You're not going to do that to us. Then can Malik Willis beat him? And what will that look like if they have to go to the air?
Right.
And,
I mean,
plenty of weapons for him to throw to there. And I kind of hope it goes that way, just for the aspect of learning about Malik Willis and what that would look like for both these teams.
That's also pretty interesting. And as you said that, I'm sitting here thinking, they just invested in Snead, and their corners are, guys they trust. Maybe it's just leave them on, cover zero. Just stay on islands on those guys. That's why we're paying you, and we're going to put 12 guys in the box. I like the under.
How about a Jaden Reed game in that case then? Kind of get the ball out quick. The slot guy, he actually leads, I believe, the Packers in receiving this year with 147 yards and a touchdown. They've really spread the ball around to their young receivers. Jaden Reed game, potentially getting the ball out quick for the
maybe it's just a non-Snead game. Whoever, they have so many receivers, right. Whoever Snead isn't on, Yes.
So yeah, maybe they go more to Wicks, more to Jaden Reed, and less to the guys on the outside.
Yeah, I don't know, but I could see this being a slugfest. Though I still want the points.
I can't blame you there. Yeah, and I don't know. I guess I could see where they're saying, look, we don't know, a pick 'em game, and it's at home at Tennessee. But I would think neutral field, the Packers should get 3, which would make it a pick 'em game because they're on the road at most. So I think you're getting 3 free points here.
I tend to agree.
The Philadelphia Eagles at the New Orleans Saints. 1-1 Eagles at the 2-0 Saints. Another really good one. Two of the better teams so far to start this 2024 season. The Saints at home favored by 2.5 points, Matt.
Am I crazy to think the Saints are ready to crash? Not crash, but just come back to reality a little bit. Maybe we're getting a little ahead of ourselves. Their O-line isn't particularly – I thought it was going to be a big problem, and they've overcome that. But are they going to get this Eagle front blocked? And I just think Philly's really good on offense. If you're going to give me points for a game that I thought the Eagles would be a 7-point favorite 2 weeks ago on, I think I'm going to lean that way.
I'm with you, too. I like taking the points in this game. And if it went the other way and you could get points for the Saints, I would probably take the points there as well. But since the Saints are favored, I'm going to go with the Philadelphia Eagles here. One thing to remember, though, and it's kind of been underreported, and we haven't talked about it a lot on this episode, but we saw what it looked like with Bobby Slowick's offense immediately with the Houston Texans last year. And Clint Kubiak from that Shanahan tree is the offensive coordinator now in New Orleans. And it looks completely different. And you see the high-level efficiency from Derek Carr, and they got the running game going. Like, I think that's something that can be sustainable.
Oh, I do too. Good. Sorry.
And so I'm not like, I don't think it's a crash necessarily is what I'm saying. I don't think they're going to go put 40 points up on everybody every single week and just trounce teams, especially the Eagles, which is why I want to take the points in this game. But I don't see a crash necessarily for the Saints. I'm much more of a believer than I thought it'd be of the Saints after a couple of weeks.
That's well said, and I agree with everything you said. They're not a fraud. I mean, they're going to be a good team. I think they're going to be a playoff team. I just don't think they're going to drop 40 on everybody all year long and be, first in EPA, first in DVOA by a mile over the rest of the league. You know what I mean? I just think they're going to be a good team, not a great team. And real quick, they went from dead last in the usage of play action to first. I mean, that small change, it isn't a small change.
And Derek Carr is a smart veteran quarterback. Give him the looks he needs, get some motion, and help your quarterback out. And he's playing with a ton of confidence right now.
And they are helping a bad O-line.
And the line hasn't looked that bad. And obviously they plugged in a first-round pick, and so that's helped out a lot as well. And so we'll see if the Saints can keep it going here against the Philadelphia Eagles. More games, including a couple of Monday nighters, Lions at Cards as well. We're making picks for Week 3 of the NFL next. This episode of Peacock and Williamson brought to you by Prize Picks, America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with over 5 million active members. It's the easiest and most exciting way to play DFS. Unlike other apps on Prize Picks, it's just you against the numbers. You're not playing against a pool of other players. There's no sharks in the pool taking advantage of a wide pool of guppies out there that are just tossing money in. No, it's you against stat projections at Prize Picks. And all you do is you pick more or less on 2 to 6 stat projections. And if you hit them all, you watch the winnings roll in. But guess what? You don't even have to hit them all because there's flex play with Prize Picks, which means you can still cash out if your lineup isn't perfect. You can double your money, even if one of your picks doesn't hit. And it's safe and secure. Prize Picks puts their members first. So withdrawals are fast. When I win, quick and easy. When I hit my picks, I can get my money out as quick as 15 minutes afterward. So download the Prize Picks app today and use code LOCKEDONNFL. Get $50 instantly when you play just $5. That's code LOCKEDONNFL on Prize Picks to get $50 instantly when you play $5. Don't even have to win on that $5 to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks, run your game. Okay, let's finish up the Week 3 schedule of games, and there are some really good ones here. How about let's go to actually that Lions-Cardinals game in the afternoon Sunday. It is the 1-1 Lions at the 1-1 Cardinals, and for two 500 teams, this game has me very excited to watch because I loved what I've seen from the Cardinals offense. They are ready for prime time. The defense has been a little bit better than expected, I think, to keep them in games as well and help out that offense. And the Detroit Lions stumbled a little bit. They've lost the game, and then they barely won in overtime against a Rams team that looks awful to start the year. So strength of victory right now is probably on the Cardinals side versus the Lions side after 2 weeks. Lions on the road favored by 3. Talk me out of the home dog Cardinals in this one, Matt.
All right, I'm going to do my best because I'm taking the Lions.
Okay.
I love where the Cardinals are at. Way ahead of schedule from when the staff took over. Really fun offense. Agree with everything you said. They don't have a great home field advantage there, but maybe Cardinal fans are starting to say, this team's fun. I'm going to go to the game and get into this. Who knows?
I'm going to stop you right there. That's a great point. If you're a Cardinals fan right now, you maybe didn't have tickets to this game a few weeks ago, but you're on the Game Time app right now. You're like, let's see what kind of seats I can get for this game. I'm excited for this team right now.
Yep, and I'm sure there'll be some Lions fans there. This will be a nice time of year to go to Arizona and see your Lions. That being said, I just think the head coach for the Detroit Lions is going to say, we just lost a game, and we've been kind of getting a little too cute here. Don't we have Ragnow and Sewell and what should be the best backfield in the league, and we're going to run the ball against a just not talented Arizona defense all day long, and then we're going to take shots over the top. Let's get back to being the Lions and instead of being cute. Let's bite some knees.
So the folks at FanDuel, who are very smart, seem to think it's going to go the other way, and that the under-talented defenses are going to get lit up by the offenses. This is the highest over-under of the week, Matt, at 51.5. But I like the way you laid it out, and maybe the Lions especially, and who knows, the Cardinals can run the ball. They got a good offensive line. Do they want to, does each team potentially want to keep this close and not get into shootout with the other team that really helps you win that under bet on the 51.5?
I'm not suggesting there won't be a lot of points. So I don't love the over or under, but I just think that the Lions are going to get back to trusting Ragnow and Sewell to be the foundation of the offense, not Jameson Williams. You know what I mean?
You did a pretty good job, but not good enough to talk me out of the Cardinals. I'm taking the home dog points. I love home dog bets. I don't think that the Lions have through 2 weeks have proven to be playing a lot better than the Cardinals. So I like the Cards at home here to keep this one close, and I'm going to take the points in the Arizona Cardinals against the Lions, which is something I did not think I would do here in week 3 of the NFL season.
Yeah, really.
The 2-0 Tampa Bay Buccaneers hosting the 0-2 Broncos. No surprise, the Buccaneers at home are favored. 6.5 points. Is that enough? I don't think it's enough for me. I think I might take the Buccaneers here and give up those points.
100%. I mean, it's getting late in the year for this conversation, but it's still Florida heat and sun, at 1 o'clock early in the year. Surtain can only guard Evans or Godwin. The Bucs are just a much better team. I think they might win this game by 20. I think Denver's really bad.
As we record this podcast, it's currently 90 degrees in Tampa.
Is it? Okay. Todd Bowles lighting up a rookie quarterback. I mean,
yeah, I like the Bucs all day in that one. Carolina Panthers with the Red Rifle. Andy Dalton starting on the road at the Las Vegas Raiders, who are coming off a big win, and Vegas is favored by 6 points at home.
I was kind of hoping that the betting public would be like, the Raiders just went to Baltimore and won, and they got this good young tight end, and Minshew's really good, and Carolina's couldn't beat a college team right now. This game should be a 12-point spread. It's only 6, and I don't know if Dalton's good or not. It's been so long since we've seen him. I'm sure he's better than Young. I still think they lose by a touchdown or more. Their defense is so bad.
I hate this one because in my heart, I want to say, Andy Dalton, okay, you got a veteran quarterback, and they don't really know how to prepare for what that's going to look like. And I'm still not sold on the Raiders despite their win last week. And I want to take the points for the Panthers. But I would probably just completely stay away from this game. But we have to make a pick and be on one side. The Panthers just looked so bad. Is Andy Dalton at this stage of his career gonna change that much for the Carolina Panthers? It's hard to see for me. So you got to take the Raiders.
Yes.
Miami Dolphins, Skyler Thompson, 1-1. Dolphins at the 2-0 Seahawks. Seahawks at home favored by 4.5. It's a tough place to play. Seahawks have started the season well. I don't see how this line isn't bigger than 4.5 points, Matt.
Me too. Seattle's a really hard place to play. I think Seattle's defense has been good. Geno's 1,000 times better than Miami's quarterback, and they don't block anybody on offense. Like, I think we had this conversation. I'm on too many shows, but I'm not sure Jalen Waddle is startable in fantasy anymore. I think Tyreek Hill's like a wide receiver 2 now. I think that's all you need to know about the Miami strengths are no longer strengths. I think they lose bad in this game.
To argue the other side, and by the way, it does not look, it's not 100% yet. It doesn't look like Raheem Mostert's going to play, but you got Achane. Can you lean on the running game? Can you get the ball out quick from Skyler Thompson's hands and try to go catch and run with Achane, with Tyreek Hill, with Waddle? You still have these super talented guys. Is Skyler Thompson that bad that it's just going to completely derail the Dolphins season? And I'm pretty sure if I remember you in the past talking about Skyler Thompson, you think it's such a massive drop off, and you're not a big fan.
I do. I mean, I like the Garoppolo ideas, and I just think that Tua is such a certain type of player of timing, rhythm, get it out now, that married so well with the system that it's hard to have a replacement that can do that, let alone a young one that's unproven.
All right, we got a Monday Night Football doubleheader, and it is the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Real quick, BP. This is when you wish Miami could at least lean on a power running game. You know what I mean? When times go bad, they're a Ferrari. When the weather's bad and the snow's out, they can't do what they do.
If I had a week to see Skyler Thompson at least be able to facilitate his weapons, and this game was at Miami, I would feel a lot better at it. But right now, I just don't see how you can. 4.5 points, I just don't think is enough with the unknown of what that could look like for the Dolphins. It could turn out okay, but it's hard to bet on that is I guess what the best way to say it for me.
And by the way, Miami to Seattle is a pretty far road trip.
Yeah, it's a long trip. About as long a trip you can make in the NFL. And unless you're going overseas. And it's a hard place to play.
Yes, very. And they should be excited about their team. They're gonna be loud, right.
Yeah. So, all right. We both got the Seahawks giving up 4.5 in that one. And dual Monday nighters, can't they stagger this better? 45 minutes
that, right?
separates the kickoffs here. Don't like that. The Jacksonville Jaguars trying to get on track at 0-2. They are at the 2-0 Buffalo Bills, and the Bills are favored by 5 at home.
Jags are 0-2, huh?
Yep.
Some of these teams I just look at, the Ravens are the biggest example. Like, can I really imagine them being an 0-3 team? I still think they lose. I think that's a good number, though. I mean, I can see Jacksonville being never underestimate a desperate team. And I think they're a desperate team that has some talent. I'll say they keep it close, but still lose.
Yeah, it is a very good line. I'm going to give up the points with the home Bills, though, because the Jags got to show me something before I'm even willing to, this could very easily be a 7-point, 1 touchdown, maybe a 10-point win for the Buffalo Bills, because they've just looked like a better football team. And I'm going to stick with that. It's not quite enough to scare me off in Buffalo. Prime time on the road. Show me something, Jacksonville Jaguars.
We could be talking for sure on Monday. Are the Jags going to get a top 5 pick? Are they going to get a top 10 pick? Right. It just, I mean, is this off the rails? Is this first coach fired type?
Exactly. Thing? I think that's probably going to be in the mailbag. Is this going to be the first coach fired? We're for sure on hot seat watch after an 0-3 start for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Maybe even more so than some of the other teams that have an opportunity to start 0-3.
Yeah, it just feels that way.
One of those teams, the Cincinnati Bengals, are at 0-2, but they're at home against a rookie quarterback in Jaden Daniels and the Washington Commanders. And even though they're 0-2 and have stumbled to start the year, Cincinnati favored by 7.5 on the late Monday nighter.
I was just talking with Wig on Locked On NFL about how Daniels has clearly been the best rookie quarterback, and despite not throwing touchdowns, he has the shortest time to throw in the whole league. I wouldn't have thought that. This quick processing. If it's not there, he's running. It's very simple. He's handling pressure well. But I think T. Higgins comes back for this one. We saw a little bit better version of Burrow. I'm thinking we're going to see a really better version of Burrow against what could be definitely is one of the worst defenses in the league. Cincy at home Monday night. I'm going to take the Bengals here.
I mean, I have to take the Bengals to get off the schneid and win the game, but I was hoping because of the start to the season and the Commanders are coming in with the win, the line would be a little bit easier to be an automatic hit for the Bengals here, but 7.5 gives me pause. I think I'm going to still take the Bengals here and give up the 7.5, but I don't really like it, and I would probably stay away from this one. But you nailed it with, this is a rookie quarterback, and there's a reason rookie quarterbacks struggle. And like we saw from a very few snaps of Drake Maye, it's like, okay, get the ball out quick or run. And the thing that Jaden Daniels does so great is drop back and hit those deep balls. And he's got receivers that can make that play, but that's not something that's been featured in that offense yet. Can they get there? Can we start to see a little bit more of a robust passing game potentially for the Commanders with their rookie quarterback? I don't know. It's something that I would expect to see at some point. Is the Bengals the team to do it? Probably not. Hendrickson coming off the edge. So yeah, give me the Cincinnati Bengals, and I'll reluctantly give up the points here, but I don't think I would put my hard-earned cash on it.
Yeah, it seems like an 0-2 team. This should be less than a touchdown, but I'm still going to bet on the 0-2 team.
That is the schedule for week 3 in the NFL. Let us know who your favorite picks are at BD Peacock at Williamson NFL. Drop a comment on YouTube and subscribe while you're there. Matt and I back Monday to break it all down right here. And by the way, Matt just talked about it. Check Matt out on the Barbershop, the new Locked On NFL format. You got Wig, who actually retired from being an actual barber now to just be talking with guys like Matt Williamson about football on the new Locked On NFL. Find him on Locked On Dynasty. You can find me doing Locked On 49ers, and your team is covered right here on the Locked On Podcast Network for your second listen. One of 200 podcasts available for you. Matt and I back Monday. Peacock and Williamson.